So sorry for the earlier inconvenience, and also now I was making sure to connect to the Wi-Fi, and yeah, so everything is ready now. So what we did earlier was to create an account, which we followed the process. After creating the account, you can personalize your account, whatever, with the theme color, the profile picture, the description, and whatever, so that you can explore on your own. So, but what we'll do here now, the next step, if I may refer us to the Arewa Data Science GitHub repo. Is to create a repository. So setting up our command line. So what we said was, after creating your account, what you do is you open your command line, as I think we've shown a lot of times earlier. So after you open your command line, you type in these commands. What this command will do is it will set your global configuration to your username and your email, such that sometimes when cloning repositories where you have access to, when you set up this thing, it will automatically give you the permission using command line to modify what will I call it? To modify, but also to push. Yeah, because any repository you can download, you can modify, but the ability to be able to push successfully depends on whether you have the permission to do that. If you don't have, it will ask you, instead of pushing, you have to create a pull request, and the users with the permission to match those changes that you've submitted will review and then merge it. So what we do now is to set up our Git global user. So what you do here is you copy this and then you put in your email address there. So on the console or on the command line or on shell or whatever, you put in this and then you type. So we have Idris domain. So this is now our we've set our user email. The next thing is to set up our username, which is git config global user.name. So you type in git config and you set it as a global setting, user.name is if you recall, when creating our account, we use this email, but also we use this username. So just press enter. So now we've set our username and we set our email. So the next thing to do is you go to your GitHub, which after creating it automatically logs in, and then you create your repo. So we created account, we set up our command line to be able to allow us use this, because if you could recall, I think during our installation, we've already installed Git, so we don't need any installation. What we did now is just to configure it to be able to allow us execute the Git commands. So the next thing here, as we said, is to log into your GitHub using your credentials. If you are not logged in, here we are logged in already. Then you create a new repository, because as I said, after creating your account here, you don't have any repo. So as you see here, you can either create it through here if it is new, or if it's not new, I think we'll show both. But if you click on this plus sign near the right-hand side of the menu bar, you will see that you can create your repository, you can import repository, you can create new organization address. But our target is to create a new repository. So this is the page that it will show you. And any field that do have asterisks, it means it is required. So here you have the owner as your username / your repository name. For each one of you that created his or her own account, you will see a different user based on the username that you provided here. So our task here was set to create Arewa Data Science Workspace. So the reason why all of you can create a repo with name Arewa Data Science, Arewa DS Workspace is, it is made unique by your username / the repository name. So you can, such that if you have Arewa Data Science or Arewa DS Workspace, you cannot create another Arewa Data Science Workspace because all of it. So because all of the two will have the same name, it will be I Abdulmumin / Arewa Data Science, I Abdulmumin / but we can have Saminu / Arewa Data Science. We can have Bala / Arewa Data Science Workspace. So there are two different repositories because they are under different accounts. So this is it. So it's optional. You can give in a description. Let's say this is my first repository. This is my first repository, and you want to make it private. Why private? Because you don't want anyone that will come to your user page, your GitHub user page, to see your repository. If you like, it's something that you want other people to see, you can leave it as public. But if you want it close, you must put it as private. So you add a README. This README will give like a long description of whatever that is happening in that repository. So as we have here in Arewa Data Science, all of this writing is in the README. So it's in the README. So if you don't have README, you cannot have all of this markdown description. So this README will enable that. So it's also set as a part of the that you create a git ignore. So what git ignore does is sometimes there are files that you don't want git to be updating whenever you are doing pull or push or whatever. Because sometimes in your GitHub, you will see that, especially those people that uses Mac, you will see it puts a file called .dstore, which usually is just a garbage file. So in git ignore, this is a file that you specify all the file names that you don't want whenever you are doing push or pull to be included in that. So sometimes you will have in your folder, in your GitHub local folder. Please, who is Sharif?
Sorry, yeah, it's your face that is visible, but the screen is not.
Doctor, you can continue.
Please, if you have anything, put it in the chat.
Yeah, he put it in the chat. I'm trying to reply him. I don't know why he unmuted. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So git ignore enables you to put in files that git will ignore whenever you are pushing your files to GitHub. So here it says we create that with Python. I don't know why, but let's do it. So it's just a test. So you ignore every Python template. So there's it. If you like, you can choose license for, let's say you are developing a code, you can read all of the available licenses here. There are a lot of them. You can read and you choose license, but here we are not choosing any license. especially if you are writing a code and you want other people to use, so you put in license. So it's just like a disclaimer of what is allowed, or what you are allowed to do, or what you are not allowed to do using the code. So some people, after creating code, can take your code and create a commercial software and sell it. So in your license, you can say that this is a code that you can use only for, let's say, research or personal purposes, but you cannot make any money. So there are different types of licenses depending on what you want. So after this, you see, you've created your first repository. Click on create, and this is your first repository. And what is the first repository? Is named Arewa DS workspace. So, and you see our description here. This is my first repository included in the README. You can edit your README, you can do whatever, but we are not looking at that now. You'll get to learn about it. So we've configured our command line. We've created our first repository. What do we want to do again? We want to clone, or clone this repository into our local computer. So let's see how we do it. So going to the command line, as we said, we need to know where we are to know where we are going. So knowing where we are, it's where we are is made possible using the print working directory command, which if you say pwd, you will see this. So the next thing is, where do we want our project folder to be in? Let's assume we want it to be in the desktop. So what we do is we say cd desktop, and then we press an enter, we do pre-wd, we will see that yes, we are on the desktop. So for organization purposes, as I said, I think doing all of this experiment or all of this work, it's better if you don't put everything on the desktop or everything in the document, but create a folder and go into the folder and do whatever you want to do with it. So what we do now, since we are on desktop, we can list directory to see that the folders that we have, you see them here. There are a lot of the folders, but let me do something. Let me increase the font. Okay, hopefully you can see better. So we are in the desktop and we see there are a lot of folders here or a lot of files and the rest. So we have, so we can create now, make a directory, let's say Arewa DS. Let's call, this is our folder. So if we list directory again, we can see that there is a folder named Arewa Data Science, which is this Arewa DS. So since our Arewa DS has been created, we can now go into the folder called Arewa DS. We can cd into it. If we list directory, we'll see that there is nothing because it's a new folder. So the next thing to do is to clone our created repo, the repo we just created, into this Arewa Data Science folder. So how do we do it? What you're expected to do is, if you like, you can type in the name or whatever, but the safest thing to do is you can click on code. There is a button here called code, and then you can copy the URL. So it will tell you that this is copied. So after copying, you go back to your command line, you will see git clone. So all of what you will be doing with git, you will see git config, git clone, git add, git pull, git push. So it's just git, then what the command that you want git to execute, you want it to clone. What do you want it to clone? You just paste what you just copied. So git clone this repository. So you press in enter, it will be telling you that the repository is not found. So why is the repository not found? Because your repository is private. So, and I think that will give you the next step. The next step here is if your GitHub if your Git repo is private, you can't just access it anyhow. So let's now make it public and then clone it, then delete it, and then make it private again, and then try to clone it using other commands. So to make this public, you see the status here is private. What you go is you click on settings, you go down, it will tell you there is change repository visibility. So it will tell you that this repository is currently private. So you can say change visibility, change to public, and it will ask you, do you want to confirm? Yes, I want to make it public. I have read and understand all of these effects. And yes, I want to make it public and make this repository public. So it has already been made public. If you go back to Arewa Data Science, you will see now that now it is public. So now let's execute the same command, git clone this repository. And you see successfully it has already been cloned. If you do list, it will tell you that there is a folder now named Arewa Data Science Workspace. You can go into the folder Arewa Data Science Workspace. If you list directory, you will see that there is a README file in it. But also, since the folder is in the desktop, we can come to the desktop and we find which folder is Arewa Data Science is here. We open it, you will see this is your workspace that you just cloned. So you open it and there is a README file that is in it. And going back here, since we know that there is a README, we said we can do cat README, meaning we want to see what is in the README. You see it is Arewa DS. This is my first repository. So, and this is Arewa DS workspace. This is my first repository. What is inside the repo? So, and I said the next thing we do is to now make it change it back to private. I want to make it this private, and yes, I understand. I want to make it private because they will be telling you, please leave it public, please leave it public. But yeah, no, I want to make it private. And immediately you make it private, you will see that there is a lock here, meaning it is private. If you go back to the repo, it will tell you that this is private. So what we'll do is we'll go back. This is our repo that we clone. We'll delete it. Meaning if you go now to your command line, as we saw that there is a lot of ways that you can do this. Let's do undo, meaning we've restored the folder back. You can delete the folder. And how do you delete folder? If someone can remind me, how did we say we can delete folder? Let me allow you to unmute yourself. So now you can unmute yourself. How do we delete a folder?
So we can use the RM-R.
RM dash what?
R.
Yeah, so remove recursive. Or if the folder is not empty, we know our folder is not empty because there is a README, there is
folder is empty. The folder is empty. You can use RM only.
We can use RM what?
Only if the folder is empty.
RM-D.
Yeah, RM-D. RM only is for files. If you use RM only is for files, not directory. So if the folder is empty, you put in RMD, or also you can just put RMR, whatever. But since the folder is not empty, we use RMR and we call it Arewa DS workspace. But why is Arewa DS workspace not working? Because we are not, please mute yourself. So we are not in the directory. If we do print working directory here and we are inside Arewa DS workspace folder and we want to delete it, so we have to go out, print working directory. We will see that we are in Arewa DS folder, the main project folder. So if we list directory, you will see your repo, the one that you cloned is in here. So we can say remove recursive Arewa DS, and then you remove. So override workspace, this or that for So what happens here is there is a what should I call it? There is a not ownership. What should I call it? Permission issue. So what it's telling you is you have to override Abuma frame stuff for Arewa DS, because what we have been using is I Abdul Mumin. So by deleting this, you have to do that. So safely for us here, so override the read. So here the access that you only have is the read access. So it's asking you, do you want to do the override? Say, yeah, you say R. So it tells you that permission denied. You don't have the permission to do the deleting. So to be able to do delete, we have to change the permission, which it's something. So here it will be safe for us to just delete the folder. So if you list directory now, it's not available. So the next thing now to do is we set our repository is private. So changing ownership, you can use CHOWN, which is change ownership, and then you determine what user you give. It's somewhat complicated, or because we have a lot of newbies here. So going into that is not part of our curriculum. That's why I didn't go in there. So, but we can change the permission from read to write to execute if you are running a file or an executable file. So you can do all of that, but it's something that is much more ahead of this curriculum. So that's why instead of showing you how to change permission, I just kept it. So we delete it. So the next one is we want to clone a private repository. So I think we are given the guide here also. So if you go into your Arewa DS, so clone a repo that do not need any, that is public, we've seen it. So if you have a GitHub repo and you are expected to use, or you've set that you use SSH token instead of tokens, what we are seeing here is to use token. So you can create a new token, as we'll see. First, you have to make sure that you follow the steps to create the SSH keys, and then you use SSH2. But the simplest way to do it is to use token. Even though token now, they are saying that it's not that advisable to use token, but it's the one of the easiest way to work with. So first, you will be asked of your GitHub username. You press enter, then you give in your GitHub password, and then that's. So how do you create a token? So you go into GitHub settings/token. Here you are given it. So you will see that we don't have any token. If it is my Abuma Frame account, I have a lot of tokens that I use to access some of the repositories, a lot of different repositories that I will work with. So, but here we can see you can generate a new token. This is for general use. What do you want to use it for? You can say access, something that you can just remember, access private repo. So what you want to do is you want to access private repo. And sometimes it's very much advisable for you to set an expiry date for it, such that after the expiry date, even if another person gets access to your personal token, that person may not be able to use it on your behalf. So let's make my own 7 days, meaning after 7 days, this token should expire. Or if I like, I can make it that it doesn't expire totally. So after creating it forever, I will just continue to be using that token. So scopes for defined access. So if I may say, I will select a repo, meaning I want full control of private repositories. So I think this is enough for you. So you can generate the token. This is enough for you. So after generating the token, you can copy the token because they said this and that. So we've copied our token. So we go back to Arewa DS machine learning. So we've created the token, we've copied the token, then how do we use it? So generate the token, so you can give it a name such as this, and then you select a repo in the scope, which I think we showed it again, and click on generate token. So you will be shown a token, you should save. So they said you will not be able to see it. Now you use the token instead of your password and press enter. So what we do now is, where is command line? I think let me take it here. So what we do have is, instead of just saying git clone and then give in the URL, what you put in now is git clone, and then you say git at github.com, then full column, and then we put in the username, which is Abdulmumin, and then we put in slash, and then the repo name, which is Arewa DS workspace dot git. So the new command now, instead of just git clone, you give in the repository, what you put in is git clone, you put git at GitHub, and then full colon, you put in your username, which is Abdulmumin, and then you put in git. So now we press enter. So it's cloning into Arewa DS. Is it taking this time? Yeah, so could not read the operation timeout. There's this key exchange, whatever. So it's not finding the repo. Abdulmumin Arewa DS workspace. I think. So could not read from a remote key exchange error. So let's go back to tokens. We have this repo, and here we ask it to do this. Sign in, read project, copilot workspace. Admin. Oh, so it should have worked without no need for updating. Only the minimum has been set, yes. So in this new account, so we clone here, this slash here, this. Yeah. Everything is correct here. Git clone, github.com, Abdulmumin, yes. Yes. let me see. E-exchange error. And GitHub no longer support basic credentials. You have to generate personal access token. And yeah, so ideally, this is how it's done. But I don't know why it's giving error. Git clone this, git clone that. Okay. So let's do this git clone. Now we put in our personal access token. We say at github.com. So we put in, let's see, personal access token at github.com/this and that / I Abdul Mumin / Arewa DS / workspace .git. Oh, I put in git client, not git clone. Sorry. So file repository this does. Yes.
I'm thinking maybe the name of the repository is not Arewa DS, it's Arewa Data Science Incomplete.
This is the repository that we just created, Arewa DS workspace, is it?
Okay.
So they changed this a lot, which git clone github.com/.
I tried with the Arewa Data Science in full and it worked.
Yeah, it will work. Ideally, yesterday it worked, but sometimes this issues arises. Cloning a private repo. Arewa DS is not a private repo if you look at it. So if you clone, it will work because it's not a private repo. So what we are trying to do now is to clone a private repo. So, and to clone a private repo, you need your access token. And that's what is giving us a lot of issues here. So personal this at github.com/your account /repo. So git clone git at GitHub repo name. But yeah, so all of the, it's kind of a bit surprising. So all of the, yesterday I did this and it was working. I don't know whether it's because I'm using a new account. So what you have is git clone. Ideally, you put in git username at GitHub, and then you put in your username. And then on the command line, it will ask you to put in your personal access token instead of the password to your account, and then it will work. Or you put in git clone, you put in the path. So let's see. So git clone. So HTTPS.
Maybe there's an error with the copied personal access token.
Wait, what?
I say your personal access token, maybe there's an error there.
No, there is no error. No, there is no error. As you see here, it worked. So what happened was we did not put this HTTPS. So it was not going into a secure website. So that's why it was telling us that it does not exist. So if I may So sometimes these are the things that you'll encounter, especially if you are running all of this. A day you will work, it will work. Another day you will work, it will not work. So, and that's why Dr. Shamsu came up the idea with the mentorship, but also asking you to be looking at Google, such that if you have problem, you can rectify. So, and you see, we did that. So if we do ls here, we don't have. So the only issue was after putting in git clone, we forgot to put HTTPS here. So you put in your HTTPS, and then you put in your personal access token that you just created. Then at github.com/ your username / the GitHub repository that you want to clone, and then you press in enter, and it will tell you that it has cloned already. And this is the success message ideally that you are supposed to have, which we did have. So cloning into Arewa DSS, it enumerates, count the object, compress, and then receive the object. So if we go back to our folder here, you see that we have Arewa Data Science. If you click on it, you have README. So it was quite a bit hassle. And so what we do now is to go continue now. So you have created your repo, and you've know how to clone it, even though if it's private. If it is public, you know you don't need any public access token. You can just clone it directly. If it is private, you have to go and create your token. You copy the token, and then on your command line, you say git clone, and then you put in HTTPS column / you put in your personal access token, and then at github.com/ then your username, in this case, Abdelmomin /arewads workspace.git. If you press and enter, it will clone your private repository. So we've seen this. The next thing to do here is to go into Arewa DS and try to fork this repository into your own account. If you see here, you have only one repository. If you click on your username, you see your repositories is only one. If you click on repository, you will see this. This is the repository that you created, and it's private, and we see how to clone. So you go to Arewa DS, because all of the contents that you will be working on, including assets here, and the introduction, the stage 1, which is getting started, the 30 days of Python, the whatever, all of it will be here. So since it will be here, you need a copy of this. A copy of this will enable you to create more folders, especially for all of the assignments or all of the tasks that you will be doing every week. So how do you fork this repository? It's very simple. You go in here, you see there is something called watch. Immediately after watch, there is something called fork. So, and if you hover on it, it will say fork your own copy of the repository. So if you click on it, it will tell you, do you want to create a new fork and this and that. The only difference there is you see Arewa DS is under the user or under the organization Arewa Data Science. But in here, if you fork it, it will be under your own username, which is owner / Arewa DS, which is that. If you like, you can change the name, but to ensure that you are using the same folder, you can leave the name as it is. You see there is a description already that is in there, and it says do you want to copy the main branch only, or do you want to copy all of the branch? Because there we don't have any extra branches, we are using only the main branch, so you can just say create fork. So you see now under your username, there is another repository called Arewa DS Machine Learning, and under it, it will tell you that it was forked from Arewa DS Machine Learning. So now if you click on your username, you will see now you have 2 repositories. If you click on repositories, you will see that there is a repository called Arewa DS Workspace that you created earlier, and there is the one that you just forked, which is Arewa DS Arewa Machine Learning. And also what you need to do here is click on Arewa Machine Learning, and you will see that you have exactly the same copy as it is in the original folder, but always it will be telling you that it was forked, it was forked, it was forked. So, and also you will be seeing, or you will be tracking changes. Here you will see that this branch is up to date. And why is it up to date? Because there is no new change in the previous repository or the original repository. If there is any change in the original repository, it will show you here that there is a change. Do you want to match the change, or do you want to update your own copy of the repo and the rest? So as we did cloning, we can copy the part here, we copy the link here, we go back to our command line, print working directory. We know we are inside the Arewa DS folder. We can say list. We know that we only have the Arewa DS workspace only. So now we can say git clone. We want to clone Arewa DS machine learning. So and now you see it is cloning, it is receiving the objects, it is working. 72, 79, 82, 94, 100 MB, 109 MB, and you finish cloning, and the size is 132 megabyte. So now if we list, you will see that in addition to Arewa DS workspace, we have Arewa data science machine learning. We can do CD Arewa data science machine learning, and if we list here, you will see that we have README, we have assets. You can do list -1 so that we can see all of them in one line. So we have all of these files: README, stage 1, getting started, asset, and mentor, mentor mentee markdown. So if you go here, we'll see that these are the files that were in there. Stage 1, we have asset, we have README, we have mentor. So you see now we have a copy of it. If we go back to our folder here, you see we have Arewa data science machine learning. If you go into it, you will see that you have these files that are in there. So the next thing to do, especially because you will be doing assignments, is after going in here, you can create a new folder, let's say called assignments. Create a new folder called assignment. Sorry, we are doing CD, even though we've not created it. So make a directory assignments, and now we can change directory into assignment. If you list, you'll see that there is nothing. But since you'll be doing assignment, let's also say make directory, let's say day 1, because we say 30 days of Python, so maybe there will be day 1, day 2, day 3, and the rest. So you can say make directory day 1. Also, if you list directory here, you have, there is a folder called day 1. So inside day 1, let's also change into day 1. We can say echo, let's call it, this is my first file creation on GitHub, and we want to save it into a file called, let's say, text file.txt, and then you put in enter, and now it has created. So if you now do ls, you'll see that there is a file called this. If you do cat text file, this is my first file creation on GitHub. So if you click on here too, you will see that there is a folder named assignment, which you created. If you click on it, you will see that there is day 1. In day 1, there is a file called textfile.txt. So the next thing to do, which we are trying to wind down, is you've cloned this repo. You've first you forked it, you cloned it, and now you've made some changes. If you go on your GitHub here, you'll, even after refreshing, you'll see that there is no assignment folder, even though in your local repository, you've created an assignment folder. So what do you want to do? You want to ensure that your local repository is reflective of the repository that is on GitHub. So how do you do it? You run some commands. So where are we? We are in print working directory. And it tells us that we are in Arewa data science machine learning assignments, day 1 and whatever. So how do you do this? So for whatever file that you create or whatever changes that you do, the first command to run on GitHub is git Then you tell it add everything. Why did we say add everything? Because we've created a lot. You may say git add text file.txt, but there is assignment that you created. There is the one that you created. Sometimes there are a lot of changes that you did and you want to add everything. So you just say git add everything. So you see now this has already been added. So after adding it, the next thing to run is git commit, meaning you want to commit all of the changes that you do. So you say git commit, and then you give it a message. As if we look at it here, you'll see that there are some messages here that used to appear here, that this is my second commit, this is my this is my that, and whatever. So these are the message now that we are given. So you call it message, and you say, let's say this is my first commit, or you can give it a more vivid description by saying I have created assignment folder and the one folder, and I have created .txt file. You can give it something, but as just a demonstration, just add this is my first commit. So you can give it any message that you want. So and you click and enter. So what it tells you, it will give you a summary of what you did. So what it says is you've created assignment slash yeah, so it will tell you that you've changed something, you've created assignment slash day1 slash text file.txt. If there are many other changes that you did, it will tell you that these are the things that you've done. So the last thing to do is pushing. You've added the files, you've committed the files for pushing, and now you just push them. So you just say git push, and you give it where is the origin that you will put in. You say your main, and then you press enter. So it will tell you that it failed to push at this because permission is denied. Your permission is denied. Git push to fork, permission denied. Why it was denied, I don't know. So we have this, so you fork, you clone your fork, you push to it, you press pull request, you create, you wait for original auto. I have the same error when I change my this. Yeah. Personal account. Git clone this, yeah. So it's kind of a bit surprising. GitHub, this username, machine learning, failed to push. So git push original. Push reject. Permission denied. Let's see which branch do we have here. So we have main branches. Slash this permission denied. Sorry for all of this hassle. I hope you are learning from this. So is I have to login and the email is here. And this is the user.
I think maybe the name of the branch is not meant.
So at this line helper, this solve my issue. Thank you. Let me see. So between now you can see. Good. If we say edit again, we'll see that this was saved already. So let's push again and see. Username for this, I have domain and password for it. Put in my password. So fatal authentication failed. I save user. I don't I think we have to use our personal access token, which doesn't make much sense. Personal access. It will be up here and then push. And then instead of password, I put personal access token. And finally, it works. And if we go in here, which is Arewa data sets machine learning, if I click here, and then refresh. Oh no, this is Arewa DS. Refresh here under my name, Arewa DS machine learning, and it will tell us there is assignment /D1, and there is text file.txt. So quite a hassle, quite a hassle. So most of these things usually are permissions, a lot of permissions, a lot of them. So, so you see, sometimes it's not as straightforward, but what I think I will do is to make it much more straightforward. Instead of putting all of these things, updating the git.github, I think this this guideline that was given here is a little bit outdated. So we need to put in we need to update this. So inshallah, before tomorrow, I will try as much as possible to put all of the processes that we followed, such that what you need to do is just copy, paste, and execute, copy, paste, and execute, instead of what I have been doing, go to Google, find how to do this or how to do that. So I'm very sorry that the guideline given is not that updated, because GitHub especially, they do change their processes a lot. They change their processes a lot. So something that will be working today, you will see that tomorrow it might not be working because something has been updated. And especially with regards to security, if you see, even your password is not taken. What is relying on is you have to be putting in your personal access token when cloning a private repo, but also when pushing to a repo that you just forked. So, and the last thing that I want us to see is if you click on Arewa DS, even if you refresh it here, you will see that the assignment is not here, because what you are edited or what you have been editing is your own copy. It's your own copy of the repo, not Arewa data science copy. So you see in my own copy, there is assignment /D1, and inside assignment /D1, there is text file.txt. But on Arewa data science copy, it's not available. So that means any one of you will, after forking your repository and doing updates, it's personal to only your own. So the original copy will be left as it is, such that every other person too can clone it and edit it as they want. So, and I told you if there is any edit. So here is saying that this branch is one commit ahead of data science, Arewa data science main, because we've done this change. If there are a lot of other commits, it will be telling you 2 commits ahead, this ahead. If it is Arewa DS that did the change, it will tell you that it's 1 commit ahead because you did commit, but also it's 1 commit behind. If Arewa DS did a change, it will tell you it is 1 commit behind Arewa DS because Arewa DS have done some changes. So a lot of apologies for my internet, for my computer, for the not very seamless execution of our codes that we have to start debugging some of the things. So I hope the video, since it's here, it will guide you, but also we'll try as much as possible to update the GitHub to-do page. So Simon, if you can take it from here.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr.
Simon, I'm not hearing you well.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Your voice is very low.
Okay, let me check. I think it's from my mic.
Can
you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation. And we apologize to fellows for this little glitches.
Your voice is low.
Still? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, but it was louder before, more audible before.
Okay. All right, so as I said earlier, thank you very much for such a wonderful presentation. And to fellows, thank you also for your time, despite the issues we had of network and the rescheduling, but then you were able to come back and rejoin. We hope you guys will go back and practice this. And remember that tomorrow we have a session by 2 o'clock, and it's going to be a talk. Before then, we shall send an email to each and every one of you. And if you have a question or challenges, you are free to reach out to us, especially to the mentees, as everybody has been attached to a group of mentee. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for everyone for coming back. It's not easy that you go and then you come back, but please understand that sometimes. And the last thing I want to say is, you see, we started thinking the process will be as much seamless as possible. But then with everything coding, with everything that you did not, even sometimes things that you do develop yourselves, sometimes you will fail. But things that you did not, sometimes there might be some updates by GitHub that you don't know, and you want to execute something, and then you see it doesn't work. So you have to start Googling, searching, how can I do this? How can I do that? The most fortunate thing in this world of ours is most of the experience that you'll see, you are not the first one that experience it. So another person have experienced it and has find a solution to it already. So if you search, you will find. And sometimes you learn by all of this iteration, failing, trying to solve, failing, trying to solve. And at the end of the day, you will see that you'll be a mentor to other people. So that, yeah, I've passed through this experience. So now I can put you through what you are trying to solve. So I'm very sorry for all of your time that got wasted and the delays that we did have. And hopefully other sessions wouldn't be as this difficult. If we have any other person that want to say something, please do so before we end the meeting. So without much further ado, this recording will be available, inshallah, to all of you to be seen and also to be laughing at all of the failures that we did encounter. We learn like that, inshallah. So we see tomorrow, inshallah. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Inshallah.